Now for me, driving and reporting on cars is a great deal of fun. There are some cars you can't wait to get out for a spin in, other cars you think, well, it's not really the sort of car for me. Now Toyota have a reputation for building very fine cars, solid and reliable, but not the sort of cars with their mass market vehicles that are going to set the world on fire. And the Carina was one such car. A car about as interesting as watching paint dry or maybe finding out what sort of sandwiches you had in your lunchbox that day. Now the Carina's replacement is this, the all-new Avensis. Yes, I said Avensis. What does it stand for? What does it mean? We don't know, but this is the car. Now in the 6 years that the Carina was around, Toyota sold 125,000 models, and this year Toyota predicts sales of the new Avensis at around 25,000, and for sure it'll be a big player in the fleet market. And I doubt its claims that this is an upper medium class car. Toyota are running a very smooth TV ad at the moment for the Avensis, making it look very spacious and very glamorous. Well, is it? I'm not so sure. I think it's rather bland in the styling, apart from these rather snazzy headlights at the front, which a lot of car manufacturers are going for. But what's the interior like? Well, let's take a look. Now inside this 1.8 GS model, you're cosseted by airbags, quite literally. There's one for the driver, there's one for the passenger, and there's side airbags as well. And Toyota tell us that the airbags for the driver and passenger are a lot bigger than they were in the Carina. For instance, a 60-litre airbag for the driver and a 110-litre airbag for the passenger. There's also a rather snazzy CD radio cassette machine which looks rather difficult to steal, looks as though it's been made for the car in fact. That's very smart. There's an alarm, immobiliser, air conditioning and a sunroof. And what do you think about the interior in the Avensis? Well, at first I thought it was rather garish, but I have to say it has grown on me a little bit. This rather odd pattern on the seating, but I'm still not convinced about it. And why, oh why, do car manufacturers insist on giving us these huge expanses of grey plastic on the dashboard? Surely they could come up with something a lot better. And how about this for a touch of style? Supposedly anyway on the Avensis, this so-called wood effect around the centre console. And it is purely just for effect. I don't think that has ever seen the inside of a tree. So what about the engines on the new Avensis? Well, there are four. There's a 1.6 litre 16 valve lean burn. There's this, which is the 1.8 litre 16 valve lean burn. There's a 2 litre and a 2 litre diesel. And also new to the Avensis range is a brand new ignition system, which called Toyota Direct Ignition, or TDI. It makes the engine more reliable, it reduces electromagnetic interference, and also helps with ignition timing as well. Now this 1.8 litre produces 108 brake horsepower, so it's quite respectable. And I have to say I've been driving it around for a few weeks and either it's very economical or there's something wrong with the fuel gauge because the needle has hardly moved in the past few days. It should give a combined figure of around 38 miles per gallon, a top speed of 119 miles per hour and 0 to 60 time in around 11 seconds. On the road, the car goes well, the engine revs freely, but one thing I have noticed with this car is a slight lag in the acceleration, the sort you sometimes get on turbos. Just a slight hesitation, maybe it's just on our test car, I certainly hope so for Toyota's sake. The handling is not that impressive, I have to say. Pushing the car hard through twisty country lanes makes you realise it ain't a sports car, but its brakes are good and the seating position is fine. Rear seat passengers don't fare too bad with a reasonable amount of room, plus a rather snazzy armrest that incorporates a tray and of course the customary drink holders. Toyota claim luggage space to be good for this size of car, although you might be best going for the hatchback or estate if that's critical for you. Now the Avensis is up against some very tough competitors in the form of the Mondeo, the Vectra, the Laguna and the Peugeot 406, and for me personally I think I'd choose one of those cars over the Avensis. Toyota can bang on forever about the great reliability and the quality and value for money that they give, all important factors of course, but for sheer driving pleasure I think I'd choose one of those rivals. Now this 1.8 GS saloon is £15,115 on the road, great value for money. And the Avensis range starts at just under £14,000, rising to just over £20,000. You get a choice of saloon, hatchback and estate, manual or automatic, and a choice of 4 engines too. One big plus point though for the Avensis is the fact that this car is built here in Britain in Derbyshire, and that's great for jobs, it's great for the economy, but you just can't get away from that dull Carina image.